Hello and welcome back to another Kerbal Space Program video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're taking a step aside from our career mode, and I'm going to be showing you the Mission Control Room Recontrolled Probe IVA mod that I've been using thus far in it. I meant to do this as my first video, but I ended up spending more time on the actual launch itself. So today I'm actually just going to go through each of the buttons and screens and just kind of show you what does what. So if you want to use this mod, you'll have a little bit more familiarity with it. So first off, I'm just going to show you the little probe that I have right now. As you can see, it's the SCANsat. I made this all in sandbox mode, but I try to use very basic parts. Obviously, some of them need to be more advanced, but we'll get into that. So it's got lights, it's got a little bit of science, it's got a communitron, some solar panels, a radiator, a camera using HullcamVDS. There's actually going to be quite a few mods that are going to be here, and I'm going to list them in the description below. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the room. Obviously, I hit launch and we start off here, but when you press the C button, just as you would for a manned mission, a crewed mission, that'll take you into the IVA mode. You press C and this will take you into the mission control room. So let's go ahead and go there now. All right. So first off, I want to say that these over here are your flags. I chose the ASET flag, but whatever flag you decide you want to put will be right there. So yeah, I guess let's start from the top. You have your mission time here, and obviously once you launch, it starts going up. You have your name, the name of your craft right there. Over here in the corner, you have this. I don't actually end up using very much. I don't look at it. It's kind of a little too far off from the corner than what I want. So this is your signal strength. I'm using remote tech, so remote tech overrides the signal strength, so it will always say no signal here for me. But if you're just using regular stock communication of KSP, this will probably tell you what your signal strength is. And then you've got your vertical speed over there. Now coming in on this side, I'm using TAC life support, Thunder Aerospace Corporation life support system. That mod gives you, the Kerbals now have needs of oxygen, water, and food, and they produce carbon dioxide, wastewater, and waste. So this is just a graph that will show you where you're at in your craft with that. Here, very self-explanatory. It shows you the delta V you have remaining in whatever stage you're in. You have the delta V of your total there. And so now these screens here in the center, and these screens down here, and then the screens on the two desks below are from the RasterPropMonitor. It's definitely going to be a necessity for this, as they give these screens their functionality. So let's see, what's the best way? I'm going to use this center screen to kind of go through some of these options. So we're first going to go through the screen options, and then we're going to go through what the buttons on the desk do. So obviously on the standby mode, which is this button right here, it just brings you to the regular standby screen. It shows you whatever version you have. I'm on 0.31.10.1 as you see. Okay, so first off, we're gonna click this one right here. So you have this is a screen for your resources. It starts off with your total, and then you can switch to your stage. A lot of these screens will have multiple, as you see, orbit display, is map plus /map. They have multiple options, so just click around and kind of see what you have here. So I only have the one stage, so it only shows me my total is going to be the same. I don't know why it's not showing me liquid fuel. There are a few glitches that I have that I've noticed. So yours might vary slightly than mine, as far as like whether or not things like this happen. I'm not sure why that would disappear. Oh, you know what? I know why, because the stage hasn't been staged yet. When I hit the space bar, this will probably activate. Okay, so that's all good. Right here is the target menu. This is, this right down here is how you move around the screens. So for this, we can go ahead, we don't have any vessels, but if we were, this is where they'd be. And so we're going to use the plus and the minus keys buttons to go back and forth. So let's go ahead and select that. You have all the celestial bodies here with their distances. I'm going to go ahead and select the MUN, and then I press this plus button, and now we go into the map view. As you can see, the MUN is now selected. It's now targeted. So come back. So we're gonna actually go ahead and press that again. Or no, we go back out of there, and then we, how do we deselect? I can't remember. Celestials, whatever. The best thing to do is a little bit of trial and error. Just, you know, kind of looking through and going through and seeing what you can do with each one, and just kind of familiarizing yourself with that. I'm just going to go ahead and unset target for here for now. Obviously, this is more along the lines of when you're already planning on going somewhere, so you don't need to clear it, because once you reach that destination, it clears. Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and go into landing mode. This is already not too helpful because I have the camera on there. This should be providing the camera's view. I don't know why it's not. So that's not good. But normally this would show you the view. And then so this screen is very helpful for landing because it shows you roughly your altitude, shows you how fast going vertically you are. So if it's in the negative, you're going downwards. If it's positive, you're going upwards. And then your horizontal velocity. These all help you land in first-person mode. So it's very important. You also have your impact speeds and your slope angle of what's directly below you. So it's all very good. The landing mode is very nice. This doesn't have any other options right here. So then we move on to the crew list. Obviously this is probe, so there's no crew, but if it was a manned mission, you would have the name of your Kerbal with their level and the amount of experience they've gotten thus far in the mission. You press it again, you have your flight log. This will tell you things of, like, you know, successful ignition and when stages are staged. It also tells you anytime that there's destroyed parts. It'll let you know which parts got destroyed and why. Also tells you if Kerbals get killed. It's very useful. But the problem that I found is that you need to have flight log open from the start for it to start recording in the log, because if you open it midway through, you might not get everything. Sometimes you do, but sometimes it doesn't tell you all the things that you've done. Pod cams, this is more for specific crewed vessel command pods that have their own built-in pod cams. Later we may look at a couple other landers and we'll look at their pods, and I know that the Alcor landing or command pod has a cam on it, so that's will be what they're. Oh, you go ahead and you can press F2 to hide the HUD. Usually you're going to want to do that just to clear up your vision, but you know, if you still want to keep an eye on certain things like, you know, your staging or your flight computer, and if you use remote tech, you know, things like that you can keep up, but I'm going to go ahead and hide that for now. Okay, so extra cams. Yep, my external cam is not working. I don't know why. That's actually kind of upsetting because I had a whole part about the cam that I wanted to show you. But for now, we'll move on. So now coming down here, you have your orbit. This is your orbital information. It shows you your current altitude, your velocity. It should also show you, once you're actually moving, it'll show you your apoapsis, your periapsis, your time to each of them, a whole bunch of information here. This screen is a must-have for all missions because it just gives you all the information you need. This one right here, this one is your orbital display. It'll give you your kind of trajectory around the planet. This first circle is very basic. This first circle is the surface of the planet. The second circle is the atmosphere. This green, ellipses is your trajectory. Obviously, we're landed, so it's not going anywhere. But as we go up, it'll go around, and then as we start burning, it'll expand into its orbit. And if you have a maneuver set up, you'll have it. The maneuver will be seen in blue, so all that information. And if you have a target set, you'll have a bunch of information here that gives you like closest approach and time, distance, and relative inclination, and all that good stuff. So now we go on to this one, and this is basically your orbital screen from before, except it has the SCANsat map integration in it. So this is a new, I just opened a sandbox mode to kind of do a tutorial of this. So this save file doesn't have any SCANsats. We haven't launched anything. We haven't scanned the planet. So obviously there's not going to be anything here. But if you run a scanning mission and you have information, you can use this and it'll give you the map at either the altimetry or the biome map, whatever you want. Whatever map you want will be here. Obviously, you got your latitude and your longitude, and your information up here as far as like current celestial body, Kerbal, that has an atmosphere, has oxygen. The atmosphere, the top of the atmosphere is right here. The velocity it takes to escape it, and your sphere of influence. So all this information is really good. And then you press it again, and it's just the map view. So that's nice, especially if you're doing something very specific as far as like trying to land in a very specific area. This screen is for docking. Obviously, you need to have something selected to use it, but typically I don't use this screen here. If I were to do it, I'm going to do it over at this desk, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. And then lastly is vessel view. This you need to have the vessel view mod in order to access this feature. If you don't have it, the screen won't do anything. And this gives you a little bit of a telemetry thing here. This I would recommend just kind of playing around with and seeing what you like, but I'll show you real quickly. If you hit the plus button, you have a couple different options here. I'm just going to show you two. So you press the plus button again, and then you press it one more time, and then you have different angles. So that's a top-down view, isometric, a relative. Relative right now is going to show you this, but if we were in an angular trajectory, this would be relative to that. It would show you that trajectory. And then real, I guess, because this is where we're at. We're on the side of the planet, so I guess that's where that's at. I typically like to put it wherever I can see accurately my stages and where the rocket fuel is coming from. So that's vessel view, and then you go back, and then the other one is auto rotation, and then you can choose your speed, and you can just have it kind of do this little rotation mode. It's better when you don't have this thing right here, and you can kind of look around all your things, but I'm going to have no rotation for that. So yeah, so those are all the different screens for up here. And you have all those screens plus a few more right here. So first off, I'm gonna work on this screen. First off, you have your nav ball, very helpful. It has a lot of information here as well: surface speed, acceleration. It'll give you your thrust to weight ratio right here as well when you're actually in the air. Once again, you have your target screen, but you press it again, you also have a little docking screen as well to target things. Sometimes the menu disappears when you select certain things, so if you want to go back, you just press standby, and that'll bring it back. For navigation, once again, this is the SCANsat. You have both screens. This gives you some of your flight information that you saw, like in the landing one. So this one, if you have MechJeb, that's another mod. I highly recommend it for this. I think it's absolutely standard. It should be a standard for this because the fact that when you do things like computer programmed flight paths, it should be accurate, and I think MechJeb allows that with the computer programming of this, but gives you all of this information that you can use these different tools that you can use here. So you go into orbital menu and you can select prograde or retrograde. The one I like to use a lot is circularize. Once I get myself out of the atmosphere, I go and I hit circularize, and it plots out a perfect circularization burn, and then you go ahead and do it. It doesn't do it for you, but it allows you to do it. And then the other option it has over here is Astrogator. Again, you have to have the mod in order to use it. So if you don't have either of these mods, this button is useless. But this plots out very crude maneuvers to get to each of these celestial bodies. You can just press the button and it'll plot it out. I say crude though because it doesn't take into inclination, so it just gives you whatever soonest interception you can. So I've actually started to not use Astrogator all that much. Graphs I don't use because I don't understand how to read them very well. But this graph gives you, your dynamic pressure, your surface speed, your periapsis, your apoapsis, and your altitude. So this will keep track of your flight. And then you have another version of the graph this way. Once again, you have vessel view here. You have your resources for your total and for your stage. Here, again, this should be showing you the camera of what the camera is seeing, but for some reason it's not working. That's a glitch, but yeah, so this will, if you have a camera pointed down, which is the best way to put your first camera on, because then it will show you, you can use that in your landing right here to see where the ground is, and you're not looking off into space or whatever. But anyways, once again, flight information just gives you all that stuff. Tells you if you have your SATs off or your RCS. Gives you a little bit of idea on your fuel. Landing, once again, like the upper screen, you got your vertical velocity, your horizontal velocity, your impact speed. Again, orbital information. You got your docking cam. You got your, this one is the flight log. And then the crew, like as before, but those are two separate buttons because now you also have the ship information, so it gives you the some more information about that, the local time and all that. But what I like here is it tells you your biome that you're in and then how much science you've collected. It doesn't tell you what to collect or what's available or anything like that, but it shows you how much science you've collected. So it's nice if you're biome hopping and just trying to get as much science as possible. So this is very, very useful. Once again, pod cams, if you have them, you can do things with them like panning and tilting and zooming. And if you have multiple cameras, you can select them. Same with extra cams, you can do all those different things if my version of it was working. So yeah, so you have both of those on both of these. Okay, so now let's zoom in a little bit and look at what we've got left. So on this desk, which is basically going to be the main desk, I'm going to start from left to right. You have your warp buttons. You can use these to warp, and then you can exit it out. If you have maneuvers, maneuvers or targets, these two buttons will, oh, that's how we can do it. So let's do a maneuver to the MUN, right? So now, obviously this doesn't show because I'm not in there, but I have both a target and a maneuver now. So I can go ahead and clear the target. And you see now it's no longer selected. And then you can't really see it on the map view because we're landed, but I can clear the maneuver mode there. You also have a thrust limiter here. Obviously if the ship is active, you would be able to, here, you know what, I'm just gonna activate it. Why not, right? So let's see. Let's get over here, resources, and we'll bring that to stage and we'll see if that works there. And then what else should we do here? Let's, vessel view. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stage it. For me, this button doesn't work. I do it, doesn't do anything. Makes a nice sound, but the spacebar still works. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit spacebar and stage it. Yep, so you see, oh, we just got an achievement because it's a brand new save. So now you see that in the stage it shows the correct liquid fuel. That's nice. So now we have, so now if we want, we can limit the thrust here. And then we can reset it. So now it's at 100. Okay. So right here you have your action groups. These are the action groups that you set up in the vehicle assembly building or the spaceplane hangar. One downside to this mod is or to the ASET mod in general, is no longer do you select the version of your action group and then press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to activate those versions, and then select a different action group and press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and get different results from that. Now, all 1 is all on one action group, all 2 is all on the same one, and so on and so forth. So it essentially ends up limiting you to only 10 action groups. That is a downside. However, you have the ability of typing in tags so you know exactly what each of them do, which is nice. You do that in the vehicle assembly. So yeah, so right now I'm going to show you the action groups that I normally have set up, and that's usually deploying. So you'll see that deploys my solar panels. And if you look, let's see, where is it? Change the vessel orientation. As you see, it extends my Communitron as well. So yeah, so I've got my antenna is deployed and my solar panels are deployed. So I know that once I reach space, this is the button that I press, and I know that I'm ready for space travel. So now let's go and turn the extra cam on. Let's see if we'll run it anyway. So I have a camera that's on a robotic arm. Currently it's pointing straight down, so it should have been just a downward facing camera this whole time. But the idea is you press that and so there's the camera on the arm. The idea is that once you're in space, you press it this way and you get more of a selfie view. You can see your vessel instead of just the empty space behind you. But again, lackluster because that camera's not working. So now we're going to go ahead and press the science. So we're going to say that we're in space right now. We're going to press the science tab. Now, right now it's not doing anything because we have pressed F2, so we have no HUD. But when we go back, you can see that it went ahead and did our science. I've got 3 things on there. Where's the magnetometer boom? Magnetometer boom should be extending. Oh, maybe I forgot to stage it. Let's see. Or not stage it, but put it in its put it in the action group. Let's see, in the action group. It's cameras. Oh, yeah, I did forget to. So, well, let's do that for now. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that again. You press the science, temperature scan, and then as you see here, yeah, so that goes and does that. So now I'm going to show you my last action group that I have. I call Descent, and this is always the one that I end up doing right before I'm ready to re-enter the atmosphere. Let's go ahead and get the magnetometer. Oh, did I already do this? All right, whatever. So yeah, so when I'm getting ready to go into the atmosphere, I go ahead and press Descent, and it retracts the commutron, it retracts the magnetometer boom, it retracts the solar panels, and it arms the parachute. Oh, and it also arms the radiators that I have, so now they're activated as well. I also normally put the camera, whatever camera I have, on the action group as well. I just forgot. So it would normally fold down like that as well. So now by pressing this Descent button, I know that I am fully ready for it. I mentioned that the parachute was armed, and that is from the RealChute mod. You have to have that in order to use the parachute arming. You also can control some of these things without action groups. So like over here on this screen, if I click the antenna deploy, it doesn't do anything because I guess that button's not working. If I click the solar array deploy, you can't see there. You can see there, yeah. So yeah, the solar array button controls any solar arrays that can be extended. You see the radiator, and then you also have these little things that tell you. So the radiator is active, and now I can shut it down. If something were to break these, it will show you that they're broken, which is nice. If you have a fuel cell in there, you would be able to use this, but for some reason it's not clicking on mine. These also should work, and I've had them work before, but the version that I'm running right now, for some reason, they're not working. So I'm not sure about that. So that is all that can be. Oh, and then you can throttle up with that. And since you see that our stage is activated, you can see that from here that that's the image to show that the thing is firing. So we go ahead and close that. You can still use the Z and X keys to control that. So I'm going to go ahead and click over here to the Capcom desk, and we're going to go through these two. So obviously, right from the get-go, you have one of the standard screens that has all the information on it. Oh, see, there's our camera. So if we were to press 2, yep, so here's the action group for the camera selfie stick. So this is what it should have been doing and showing the whole time. And then press 2 again. I'm putting the camera into landing mode because I'm using the Breaking Ground DLC, so I'm using those mechanical robotic parts. So now it's in landing mode. So this would be what we see when we're going and landing. So that's nice. But we don't really do that on this screen. We mainly use this one right here. Now this has some different buttons. It only has these buttons right here. It's very specific. But you got your orbit and your rendezvous data. You've got your flight, your landing, and your descent mode. Graphics. Don't normally use graphics. I'm not really sure how to use that. I'm not sure. You play around with that. You get your target menu. You get your map and your navigation. but pretty much what this is meant for, you got your external cams. Pretty much what this desk is meant for is for rendezvous. You got your approach speed here. You can change these to different things: relative speed, your distance to target. You can control your RCS here. You have some limited SAS controls. Point towards target, point towards retrograde, and then here is you also have your monoprop gauges here. But here's where you quick save, you can quick load, you can revert launch using these buttons. So that's handy. I wish that these books that you find on the tables did something. I wish you could click it and read it, but alas, you can't. You can control the RCS through this thing, but I choose not to. Okay, so now go ahead and go to the other desk over here. So that was the Capcom desk. It's a little bit difficult to move around from desk to desk. There we go. So this is the crash specialist desk, and this is where you deal with all stuff landing. So once again, you have your two screens here. I like to leave it like this, so you've got your nav ball on one side, and then you've got your landing information with your camera on the other. So here, as you saw that I did the descent action group, it already earned my chutes, but if you don't have them in an action group, you can arm them here. You can also manually deploy the chutes and cut the chutes. You've got your brakes on and off and your braking force, obviously. Again, you have a few limited SAS controls, just the stuff you kind of need. You can deploy and retract your landing gauge here, or what I like to do is you click on this and you press on that. I don't know why it's not reading this, but this should be an automatic landing gear. It automatically deploys at 2,000 meters below the surface, so that's one that's fun. Here's all your warning systems. So this is your ground proximity warning system. It gives you beeps when you're getting close to hitting the surface. Slope gives you beeps when your slope is too high that you're about to land on. High G, obviously, when you're under severe G forces. AVAS, what is that? Altitude. It basically reads out your altitude as you go. So as you take off, it will be like 5 meters, 10 meters, 20 meters, 25 meters, 50 meters, so on and so forth. And when you're coming down, it'll give you, the 50 meters, 25 meters, 20 meters, 10 meters, 5 meters crash. So that reads out, very helpful. This tells you when your ship is starting to tumble. It gives you little warnings. And here is the warning screens for all the different things that will alert you. So when your liquid fuel is running out, when your monopropellant's running out, your charge, etc., etc. And then this is supposed to recover the vessel, just as if you were coming up here and pressing recover vessel, but oops, it doesn't do it. I just unintentionally showed you a shortcut to how to get back to the main desk. Because if we come over here, let's try that again. Yeah, so we're over at this desk, right? And we want to get back to the main desk. You can only turn and look that way, and you have to click on the chair. Oh, wow! I unintentionally did it really well right there. There we go. But sometimes it's hard to click, so if you can't get, you just go back to your vessel mode, and then come back here, and it'll automatically put you right back in the flight director's desk. Yeah, so that is the mission control program. Let's go ahead and throw that up. Let's stage the let's bring the orbital information up here again. There we go. So see, now that we're flying, You've got, you know, our velocity, our apoapsis, our inclination, eccentricity, and you know, you can, I really wish our cams were working. But you know what, it's working on this one. Let's go to this desk. Yeah. See, so that's our downwards cam. And I'm using the WASD keys, and you know, you still have full control over that. Let's go ahead and arm our parachute. As you see, it's waiting negative vertical velocity, so we'll kill our engines right now. Oh yeah, there's the thrust to weight ratio that I mentioned before, right there. Okay, so I don't think arming our parachute's good. I don't think we're at a high enough altitude, so let's just go ahead and deploy chute. Deploy chute. There we go. And if we go ahead and look on our vessel view, we're currently awaiting negative velocity, but that's why one of the reasons why I like having vessel view up there is you can see just the telemetry of your craft. So as we await for the parachute to pop out, let us be thankful for having a parachute on in the first place. Yep, there you go. So, yep, the vessel view goes ahead and shows you that now the parachute is part of the craft. Your camera is again pointed towards the back. And you can see right here that our vertical velocity, we're going down. Our horizontal velocity, we're going at an angle. It's not the smoothest right there, but that's just, it's processing a lot of information. So I mean, it's good that we're at this desk anyways, because this is the desk you want to go to when you're landing something. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up time. Let's go ahead and bring us down. Oh, so those are our warnings: the high G warning, the aero braking warning, and the descent warning. You can see now our parachutes are fully deployed. Once again, I'm just going to speed up time just to bring us to where we need to be. Oh, I got the warning for low charge. I mean, I didn't put any batteries on it, so it's not too big of a surprise. And there you go. If you time warp in the control room, sometimes you run into the Kraken, and the screen's cut out. Oh, no, that's not why. Okay, so sometimes the screen's cut out because of the Kraken, but also the screens will cut out if you lose electric charge, because we are now controlling a dead. We have no control over our probes, so that's why the screens went out in that instance. But yeah, sometimes they will if you're time warping, they'll go out that way as well. So that is it. That is the, you know, let's just go ahead and put the electricity back in there so we can see. Can you see? No, we can't see. Send the solar panel. Get some charge. There we go. There we go. Now, okay, so now we can end our video with something interesting to look at. But yeah, that is the Probe Mission Control Room Recontrolled mod in a nutshell. Those are all the different things you can do with it, or the different tools that you have, and you know what you can do with it. Obviously, is up to you. But that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it, and if you did, a thumbs up would be well appreciated. And I will see you in the next one as we continue on our career mode series, KSP POV. And look forward. I will probably end up doing one of these videos for the Mach 1 command pod before we end up using that as well, because I think that there's a lack of information on what each of the ASET monitors or the raster prop monitors do and what the ASET IVA mods capabilities are. So I want to put that out there to help people like you that are interested in this. You know, if you've watched this far, I imagine that you would. Anyways, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.